Oh, hi. Hi, everyone. How's it going? Have you seen Halloween 3, The Season of the Witch? Well, if you haven't, go watch it right now. Stop listening and go watch it right now because this movie is garbage and I love it. Theme music.
You
I
just
love
got
it.
well, actually.
Pow, 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 pow. What the fuck? That was weird. Welcome to Well, Actually, a podcast for nerds who think they know everything about Halloween 3, The Season of the Witch. Which one? The third one. The third Halloween. Not the third Halloween that's about to come out. Halloween Kills. Not that one. That's not the one. Because that's the third Halloween if you go by the franchise 3. Right? I'm talking about the third Halloween. Which Halloween? That Halloween. Wait. Halloween H2O? Is that what you're referring to? No! Are you confused? So is the Halloween franchise. They don't know what's 3, what's 2, what's 1. You know how many movies that are just called Halloween? So many. You know how many Halloween movies that star Michael Myers called Halloween? And you're like, which Halloween? Well, I don't know. Which one are you looking at? Which Halloween am I talking about? I'm your host, Kane Holloway, a.k.a. Kane Reference Holloway, Callback Kane Holloway, the End-All Be Kane. Brad Kane. I'm also known as Kane the Conqueror, he who recains, the Kane who remains, Cain and Abel, and King Annabelle. Solo episode once again. My favorite time of year, my favorite film franchise of all time is the Halloween franchise, and they just like to play with the idea of Michael Myers, and I love almost every single one, almost.
You know?
There's several of them that are bad but very fun and funny to watch, and others that are just so humorless and terrible. And I would say that Halloween 3 is my second favorite Halloween movie of all time. I can't wait to talk about it. Before we do that, hey, follow the show on Instagram at Well Actually Pod. You know, check out about all our updates. Holly Annabelle Brown, the wonderful Holly Annabelle Brown, runs that account, and she is fantastic at it. So go follow at Well Actually Pod for nerd news and updates on the show and what we got going on with Holly and Brad and myself. You know, you want to know what's going on with us? Go fucking over there. You can also follow me at Kane Holloway if you want personal touches, and go to our Patreon. Support us there, patreon.com/wellactuallypod. And don't forget to subscribe to the show. Share the show. Are you a nerd? Are you a Halloween nerd? Do you like one of the episodes we've talked about Halloween before? We've talked about Halloween before, not this Halloween. You know, when we talked about Scream or any of the other great episodes we've done that are not Halloween related or horror movie related in any capacity. Do you love those ones and you want to share those? Do you want to tell us about it? Then rate and review it. Go on a little rate and review. Clickety click clack. Do us a favor. Tell us you love the show. 5 stars. It gets us up in the ratings, baby, and that's what's important. Ratings. You know, we want to produce a good show. But the most important thing are the numbers, man. You know, just help us out. Anyway, Halloween 3, The Season of the Witch, and very loose with the idea of there being witches in this movie. You kind of have to take the title's word for it that there are witches. So for anyone that wants to get caught up on the Halloween franchise thus far, Michael Myers escapes from his mental institution, and he runs amok in Haddonfield, and he kills a few babysitters, and then gets shot 6 times in the chest by Dr. Loomis, his therapist, and then he disappears. And then Halloween 2 picks right up from that, and a bullet-riddled Michael Myers is continuing to run amok in Haddonfield, and he ends up in a hospital. where he's trying to kill Laurie, and we find out Laurie Strode is his sister, and there's a big Dr. Loomis Michael Laurie battle where Laurie shoots Michael's eyes out, and then Dr. Loomis shoots a tank of gas and then lights the lighter, and Michael's dead. He burns alive in front of Laurie. And then Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, none of that matters because it's a completely different story, baby. They're doing an anthology series now. The Halloween, they don't know what to do. They can't bring him back from the dead. We watched him burn alive and get his eyes shot out. He is definitively gone. So what do? Well, instead of just ending the franchise there, as it should, and moving on to literally anything else, they're like, no, this thing makes money. Let's just say that's like part of a different kind of story. And I would have bought it. If this would have been, if like the main character's name was Michael Myers, and one of the other characters in the movie was named Laurie Strode, and a different character was named Sam Loomis. You know, like if they kept some of the characters around, but they just put them in different scenarios, like those British TV shows that play with different eras and they have characters swap out to be different. You know what I mean? Like if the good guy's name was Michael Myers and the bad guy was Laurie Strode or whatever, or the bad guy was Dr. Loomis, and Laurie and Michael have to team up to stop Dr. Loomis from this big season of the witch plan. That would have been fucking sick. Even if you made the movie exactly the way it's made right now, that still would have been kind of a dope idea to take these characters and rearrange them. But they didn't do that. They just introduced brand new characters out of nowhere. And the movie starts with an old man running away from something, and then he runs to a junkyard where he then is attacked by a man, or at least we think he's a man. And then while this man is choking this old man with a pumpkin mask in his pocket, he releases a chalk from the wheel of a car, and that car rolls into the man choking him and like crunches him. And then that man dies. So then he continues. So then it says, cuts to an hour later. This is like a few days before Halloween. It's like the 24th or something, or the 20th, whatever. And that an hour later, it cuts from that to a title sequence that says hour later. And that old man runs into a gas station attendant and for no reason whatsoever collapses. You would maybe, I don't know, think from exhaustion or hunger or some sort of wound that was inflicted during his fight. Nope, it's really never specified why he passed out. So the gas station attendant is like, well, I got to take this dude to the hospital. Then we cut to our main character, a doctor with a mustache. And I don't even know. No one knows.
I don't even know.
This guy shows up at his ex-wife's house to give his two kids masks that he bought them for Halloween. And they're shitty, ugly, fucking dumb masks. And they look at him all disappointed. And then he goes, "What's wrong?" And they go, "We already got masks from this Irish toy company." Because the Irish are known for Halloween, I guess. Why are they Irish? Anyway, they put on the masks and tell their dad to basically, you can take your masks that you gave us and cram them up your dick because we got these dope-ass Irish masks. I have a witch and my brother has a skull, and hey, Dad, thanks for the gesture, but we're spoiled-ass bitched kids, so we're going to fucking play with these dope masks. And, I mean, it's a nice gesture, but, if we're looking at it from the kid's perspective, I fucking hate that thing too. Even if I didn't get anything, if I got nothing for Halloween, that's the only costume. Why are these kids? What? I'm exhausted trying to think of reasons why the masks are so popular. They are the fucking easiest looking masks to make. Why? There's there's nothing intriguing about them. They're not based on any property. There's like Halloween is huge because we get to pretend to be the most popular things that our imagination can concoct. Or we just want to be, I want to be a Ghostbuster. So I'm going to go to a store, or I'm going to find some material and I'm going to make a Ghostbuster costume, or I'm going to find a Ghostbuster costume. I'm going to do something, and I'm going to have a proton pack and and a jumpsuit with my name on it, or one of the characters' names. I'm going to walk around as Venkman. I'm going to dump some slime on me, have some knee and shin guards, some thick black boots, and I'm going to walk around as a goddamn Ghostbuster. And it's going to be amazing, and people are going to want to take pictures with me because my goddamn Ghostbuster outfit is so dope. What are you? I'm a witch in regular people clothes. I'm a witch. Just in, like, later on Halloween, they cut to all these cities, and people are just wearing their masks with their fucking regular clothes underneath. You didn't even fucking try! You didn't even try to dress up for Halloween. That's what you got? You cheap bitches? Why are you funneling all this money to this Irish joke and Halloween manufacturer? It doesn't make any sense at all. And it gets even weirder when you start to like unpack it. So he's there, and she smells liquor on his breath, and then he gets paged. And he's like, I got to go to the hospital. And we find out he's a doctor, and he's on call. And she smells liquor on his breath. And she's like, ooh, drinking and being a doctor, that's a good combination. And then you're like, yo, you're on call, and you started getting drunk? And you kind of wonder, is this a character defect that he's going to overcome? Like, this is going to be something that he's going to go through some big thing in the story, and that's gonna like make him realize like, oh, I'm just a big piece of shit, and I should stop neglecting my children, and I should stop drinking while trying to save lives as a doctor. Like, this guy he's divorced and not estranged from his wife, but they're divorced. So it's like, is the drinking part of it? Like, is that his character? You know? And then like, is this dude just like sort of, you see the cheap masks, and you see that the wife is mad at him, and when the pager goes off, she's like, oh, well, God, like always, and I smell liquor on your breath. Okay, so this guy's a neglectful father who's cheap and doesn't think about anybody but himself, right? But then when he gets paged to the hospital, he is severely affected by what happens with the old man. A complete stranger. And what happens to this complete stranger affects him so wildly. It's so emotionally shattering what happens to this guy that he's like, I'm going to jump into action. Now, what we've been shown about this man is that he is he's a real down the middle kind of guy. I'm going to do the bare minimum to get through life and even try and fuck myself over in my career in some facet. And then when the old man is inevitably killed, he's like, I got to figure out why this happened. So he gets called to the hospital to take care of the old man, and the old man has a pumpkin mask. He's gripping onto the pumpkin mask, and he says, they're all going to kill us, to the doctor. And there's this running loop of this bum, 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 bum. On the TV and radio, you hear bum, 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 Halloween, and they count down the days to Halloween. So 8 more days to Halloween, and each day that goes by, 7 days to Halloween. One of the guys one of the men, quote unquote, men that attacked him in the suits, they all sort of look the same. They are emotionless. One of them knows that the old man is in the hospital. So the doctor is looking at the old man, and then you think, okay, he's going to treat him for some illness or some something happened to the old man, and we're going to see what it was that got him into the hospital and what this doctor does to treat the old man. And then it fades over to the head nurse tucking in the old man and the doctor standing by the door saying that he needs to take a nap. So we're never told what's wrong with the old man or what the doctor did to help him. They never show the doctor actually helping the old man. So they only have one interaction. So you're like, well, what kind of doctor is he? Is he the go and smell the patient doctor?
He's fine.
What did he do? He didn't fucking do anything. But if he did it off screen. And if he did it off screen and I can't see it, then why the fuck would I care? At least tell me what you did. At least have like some dumb dialogue with the nurse that says,
"Wow, I couldn't have patched up that bullet hole without you there. You know, you're my right hand or something. That old man would have been dead from internal bleeding hadn't it been for you."
And then the nurse would be like,
"You're the best bullet remover doctor in the southern hemisphere."
Or some fucking dumb dialogue to tell us what the fuck this guy does at the hospital. He just shows up and fades away to the next scene, and the old man is fine, I guess. So then the doctor is so tired from whatever he did off screen that he's like,
"I need to take a nap."
And the nurse goes,
"Hey, there's a lounge open and there's nobody in it, so you can go take a nap in there."
And then the doctor says to his head nurse,
"Do you want to take a nap with me?"
Red flag number 3. He neglects his kids, he drinks when he's on call, and he sexually harasses his nurses to the point where as he's walking, they're both walking down the hallway, he smacks her on the ass. And she's fucking cool with it. She smacks his ass back. What a playful... I know that the movie took place in the 80s. And I know that it was a different time before anybody comes at me with, but that was a different time and in that time and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, still though. But you know that still though. Like, this is our hero. This better come into play later. You hope beyond hope. You hope beyond hope that there is some redeeming quality in this man. Something that makes him stop drinking and stop being a piece of shit father and stop harassing women. And none of that happens. He continues to drink excessively. And, oh my God, when we get to the sex, I can't even fucking fathom what was happening in the writer's room. The shock on my face when this fucking scene comes. I cannot believe I've never seen this movie before. I've successfully, with the exception of Halloween Kills, I have successfully now seen every Halloween movie released. And I am so upset it took me this long to see Halloween 3. It is by far the funniest one of the bunch. I cannot believe it. So while the doctor and only nurse that happened to work in this fucking hospital in California walk away from their, I guess, only patient, because that's how doctoring works. That's how hospitals operate. We can only take one at a time, and there's no security. So people can just roam about a hospital with impunity. And this fucking robot-like man with no emotion walks over into the old man's room and puts his hand on the old man's mouth. The old man wakes up, and then he hovers his hand over his eyes, and in the weirdest death scene I think I've ever seen, he fucking pokes his fingers into his eyes, grabs onto his skull, and then, like, pops his skull up. Now, I'm no doctor, but unless you, like, right, pointed at his, like, if you went deep into his brain, would that kill him? I don't know. It just didn't seem like enough of a move to kill this man. Whatever. So he kills the old man in the weirdest way. He, like, pops his fucking skull up and kills him. But whatever. So the old man's dead.
Doesn't matter.
So then the fucking robot man walks to his car, And the doctor is alerted to this going on, so he runs after the robot man, and the robot man gets into his car and dumps gasoline onto himself that he just happened to have in the front seat, and then fucking whoosh, lights a match, lights himself on fire, and then immediately, the moment he lights himself on fire, his car explodes. He just goes, match, light, incredible. And this is where the doctor's world is shattered. It's the hero's journey is now begun. He can't figure out what happened. So the doctor is there all night. Cops are there. And the old man's daughter shows up. I think her name's like Elaine or Eloise or some shit. I wrote it down. I wrote it down somewhere in my little notes. What's your goddamn name? I'm going to say it's Elaine, because if I can't find it, fuck it. It's Elaine. I don't care. So Elaine shows up, and she's like, I want to see my father's body. And so they lift up the thing and the blanket, and she sees that, yep, that's my dad. He died in a really horrible way. And I'm now really affected by this. And this is how the doctor and her meet. But she's not really paying attention to the doctor. The doctor is like zeroed in on her. She walks out. He's like, he calls his wife and says like, hey, I can't pick up the kids today, but I'll have them for Halloween, and I'll take them trick-or-treating. Or I'll pick them up during. He calls the wife a couple times to tell her this thing happened and I can't make it. And the wife is like, this is just like you. You're a fucking asshole, and you really disappoint your kids, and you're a piece of shit, and what a bad father. And then she hangs up on him. He does this a couple times, and he keeps changing when he's able to pick them up and get them and whatever. So he keeps being a bad father. And then he goes and gets a drink at the bar, and I think they tell us what day it is. Either way, it doesn't matter, because what happens next is fucking so weird. Elaine comes to the bar where the doctor is. And she says, I asked the nurses where I could find you, and I wanted to thank you for coming to my father's funeral. Why wasn't the scene of the doctor at the funeral? Why wasn't that in there? Also, why is the doctor at the funeral? Why are you there? You met the man one time. Do you do this every time? Do you do this every time a patient dies? You're a doctor. How many goddamn funerals has this man been to? Okay, fine, whatever. They just fade to another scene, and something happened in the middle of it that we don't get to see. But hey, at least they gave us some dialogue to let us know that that's what happened. That the doctor went to the funeral, because he's so affected by this man blowing himself up after killing an old man with a pumpkin mask in his hand. So Elaine's like,
hey, I want to show you something.
Takes the doctor to her dad's toy shop and says,
I've been doing some detective work. Found out he went to go pick up a shipment of masks.
This witch, the skull, and this pumpkin mask, which are insanely popular. They are the iPhone 12s or 13s or whatever iPhone we're on. They are the iPhone of the 80s. These masks are so popular. It's insane how many are flying off the shelves. They can't keep up with all of these fucking flimsy, shitty-looking masks. People can't get enough of it. So she goes,
hey, I found out that there's the manufacturers in this fucking town in California.
And the doctor's like,
I'm going with you.
Calls his wife again to say, I can't pick up the kids. I'll take them trick-or-treating on Monday. Halloween in this movie is on a Sunday. So after everyone has given out all their candy and no one else is in costumes, you're going to take your kids out the next goddamn day dressed up in their fucking Halloween costumes and knock on people's doors? You are a bad father. What a fucking horrible idea. Why would you do that to your children? They will remember that forever. They will never not talk about the time their dad took them out trick-or-treating
November 1st.
Fucking dipshit. He, for some reason, decides that this mission is that important to say to his kids,
boo to you.
It would make so much more sense so much more sense if it was his ex-wife that got attacked, or one of his children, or his like brother, or that old man was his dad, not her dad, his dad. Give him some stakes. He doesn't know these people. Why does he care? It's never explained. And this woman, Elaine, is like is cool with the doctor being this invested, and she's like,
I gotta find out who killed my pops. I don't trust the police to do it.
For some reason, the police are never shown to be incompetent. She just wants to do it herself, and the doctor feels compelled enough to do it too. So they go to the town, and the town is clearly run by this company, because when they roll into the town, everyone is looking at their car. Oh, there's some strangers here. And she's like,
I feel like a goldfish. Everyone's staring at me.
and he's like,
It's a company town.
like he just goes, like these towns exist. Like there's a town where the people are all the people know everyone in the town so well that when a car they don't recognize rolls in, everybody stops to stare at it. So there's obviously something creepy going on, and you would think that would be, like that would raise some red flags for them to, I don't know, fucking leave and call some authorities or whatever. This is a alcoholic doctor and some woman. We don't know what she's capable of. We're not shown ever what she's capable of. Oh my God, when we get to the twist, I have so many questions, because now the movie is like unfolding in my brain as I'm talking about it. And there's some things that I'm just like, oh my God, that's right. That happened. Okay, so they realize that they need to fucking, light is going down and they need a place to stay. So they go to this gas station, and there's cameras everywhere filming everything, filming the entire town. It's watching their car wherever they go. Does that come into play later? Absolutely not. Are cameras used in the plot at the end? Absolutely yes. Do they work to the bad guy's favor? Fucking no. Okay, so they go to this hotel and they pretend to be a married couple. Why that's important makes very little sense in general, but they go with it.
Hey pal, this is my wife, obviously, and obviously we need a place to stay.
And the guy's like, yo, that's cool. And he's Irish for some reason, and there's like a whole Irish component to the toy maker. That man is Irish. Some people in this town might also be Irish. I don't know. It's called the Shamrock Toy Company or Mask Company or something. And they get a room, and I cannot express this enough. Well, okay, after the doctor pays for a room, this couple rolls in with their kid, and this guy is the guy who rolls in an RV with his wife and kid. He's the top salesman for the Shamrock Company. He's been selling. Oh my God, that just hit me. Why? Why does a toy mask manufacturer need salesmen? They're not cars. They're masks. And it's Halloween. They'll sell themselves, obviously.
Obviously.
The whole fucking, the entire plot rests on the back of a man who died when he owned his own, because Elaine's dad, the old man that died, owned a fucking toy company. He like ran the toy company. But he's not a salesman. He's a small business owner. And he was struggling. That's another plot point. He was struggling, so he needed these masks. Because without the masks, no one's going to his store. They'll go to the big mall that's been built. Because of capitalism. The man is building these big malls, and that's where all the money is funneling, and it's fucking, it's destroying small business. Do you think that's like a factor? Do you think that's like an underlying theme to the movie? Abso-fucking-lutely not. There's no fucking way they thought that far ahead. They're just like,
hey, capitalism's bad, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Put it in there.
okay, so this dude's a salesman, and he's the best top salesman, 100% top salesman of all time for this fucking mask company. And he's so nice. He's the nicest dude ever. So they meet him, and then this woman shows up, and she's like,
This fucking company, they didn't give me my shipment of masks.
so she has to stay at the hotel too, and she says that like as soon as she gets out of her car. Like I don't know where she came from, but she came from somewhere. And when she gets out of her car, she out loud says, "This fucking company has fucked my shipment up, and she says it out loud to the doctor, she's not even talking to the doctor. She's just talking out loud. when she gets out of the car. I'm sure she would have said that shit before she got in the car to make the drive. She's been saying that the entire car ride up to the factory. Anyway, I'm racing to get to my fucking all-time favorite parts of the movie. And the doctor goes into the hotel room with Elaine, a woman he met 2 days ago. And then he says, even though he's already said they're a married couple, he says,
maybe I should get another room.
Because he's trying to be a gentleman. And she's like,
well, wouldn't that raise some suspicions?
And then he goes,
well, maybe I'll sleep in the car then. It'd be better than the floor.
Yeah, but still though, why, if you're a married couple, are you sleeping in the car? Why even get a hotel room? So she says to him,
where do you want to sleep tonight?
And he goes,
that's a dumb question, Mrs. whatever her last name is.
And then leans in and they kiss. And I was not expecting that at all. Because again, they met 3 fucking days ago. 2 days ago, not even 3 days ago, fucking 2. He met 48 hours ago. And they don't have like any sexual tension before this. So why the fuck are they kissing? And then it fades away from the sex scene. So you kind of assume after each time it fades away that something happened off screen. So I thought they fucked. And I still kind of think they did. I'm not sure of it, but I'm almost positive they did. But that didn't happen. So, okay, I'm going to say they did. Whether they did or they didn't, they're going to fuck again.
They're going to fuck.
So he goes to get some liquor from the liquor store, and as he's walking away, a homeless man rocks up to him and starts telling him that the Shamrock Company is going down, that they're evil, and that he's gonna throw a bunch of Molotov cocktails. He's like, you can hear me, right? I'm gonna throw a bunch of Molotov cocktails at your building and set it on fire. And then the doctor's like,
all right, dog.
Pieces back out to his hotel. Meanwhile, we watched that homeless dude walk to his little shack wherever he's at, and those another two suited robot type men rock up. And they put him on his knees. One guy holds him down by his shoulders, and the other guy rips his fucking head off. Just pulls it off, and they show it. And it's fucking, even for the 80s, you're like, Jesus Christ, guys, okay. Could have shot him or something. You could have done anything else, but it's to show that these are like subhuman things or whatever. They're not human. They're fucking, they have the strength to pull a man's skull up and pull a man's head off and whatever. So they cut back to the doctor. Oh, no. Before that, they cut to Elaine, and she's getting out of the shower. Then she wraps herself in a towel, and she wraps herself in a blanket. And then naked. So she went from naked to towel to blanket, and then wraps herself up. Then it cuts back to the doctor, and the doctor rolls into the hotel room where he's got the liquor now because he's got a severe drinking problem. And then she opens up the blanket and the towel to reveal that she's wearing a lacy nightgown. And another thing I maybe forgot to mention is this was a trip on a whim. They didn't pack shit. So then that means that means that she just fucking had that. She just had lingerie. Ladies, inform me, because, you know, as a man who's never worn lingerie before, do y'all just keep it around just in case you meet a mustachioed doctor who's willing to help you with your father's murder? Do you do that? Do you keep lingerie in your little bag? Or do you wear it like you're Spider-Man and you're ready for it at a moment's notice? Oh, some fucking's about to get done? Hurrah! And your clothes come off and you fucking reveal your lingerie. Does that ever happen? Has that ever happened? Okay. So then they make out, and he pulls down part of the lingerie, and he just starts like fucking sucking on her nipple. And you're like, yo, you guys don't know each other like that. You don't fucking know each other like that. Dude, that's like date 7. That's fucking...
Right into the nipple, G.
You just wrapped your mouth around it. Oh, fuck.
Oh my God.
Oh, it gets so much better. Because then, oh my God. They get done fucking. Even though they're acting.
Her dad died.
And she doesn't know. They don't know each other. They're trying to fucking solve a murder. And they're acting like they're on vacation. And so they get done fucking. And it's the middle of the night. And then she tries to fuck again. And he's like,
aren't you tired?
And she goes, no. And then she keeps kissing on him. He puts his hand on her shoulder and then says,
Wait. How old are you?
Yo.
Whatever the answer is, you've already broken the law. That's when you ask. When you kissed her. Before you kissed her. You didn't think that was a good time to ask? Or when you fucked her? When you sucked on her nipple? You didn't think that it was a good time to ask how old this girl is? It's only after you fuck. You're like, wait a minute. Wait. Before we do this again, I just need to clarify something.
Am I going to go to prison for this?
You are not only a shit doctor and a bad father, but a horrible human being. You trying to solve this murder means fuck all now. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? I cannot believe this guy is the hero. He's the hero. The focus is mainly on him. You think it's going to switch over to her at some point. Fuck that. Fuck that.
Obviously.
The story doesn't want to revolve around the person who's actually affected by what's happening. No, it's fucking him. Why? Okay, so this lady that next door, one of the shamrock pins that's pinned to the back of the mask falls off, and she picks it up and she starts like seeing that this is like something weird about it. Kind of looks like a chip or a program or something, and so she starts fucking with it with a hairpin, and a laser shoots into her mouth and blows her fucking like mouth open, and then a bug crawls out of it, and you're like, what?
What the fuck was that?
So then later on, Mr. Callahan or Carlisle or whatever, Cranston, whatever the old man bad guy's name is. I want to, whatever an Irish name is, Callahan. I would say it's fucking Callahan. Okay, so Callahan, the main bad guy, rolls up to get this woman's dead body out, and they start talking about what happened in front of them while whispering. And then when they're like, you know, when the doctor and Elaine are like,
What are they talking about?
they're like, don't even worry about it. It's a little accident. We'll take care of her. And they're like,
Should she go to the hospital?
they've covered her entire body like she's dead. And they're like, oh, no, she'll be fine. We'll figure it out. We got a wonderful facility at the factory. They hear the word misfire. They're like, what does misfire mean? You know? So they go to investigate. And they go to Callahan's factory where the number one salesman, his wife and son, come with him to get shown around the mask factory, I guess. Being the best mask salesman means that you get to drive in an RV with your fucking shitty family all the way to a factory and stay in a shitty motel that's also a gas station, so you could get a tour of the mask factory and how they make the masks. Okay, why would you care? Guess it doesn't matter. We're in there. So since this guy became buddy with the doctor and Elaine, he's like, yo, come with us. And Callahan's like,
Yeah, I was just about to ask them to come along.
So they go on this tour and he shows them how the masks are made, and then they go to a pumpkin one, and it's like freshly made, and it doesn't have that logo pin on the back, and the kid's like,
I want that one.
Callahan goes, this one hasn't been done with final processing yet, so we'll give you this one, fresh one out of the bag. And they're like, what's final processing? And he goes, you don't need to know that. You don't need to know what final processing is. And he's like, I'm your number one salesman. Shouldn't I know what final processing is? And it's like, well, it's a little bit of trade secrets. You know, we don't want to give away too much. And he's like, yeah, but like a one little peek. Because this dude loves his job as a mask salesman. So much so, he wants to know everything about how these masks are made. And Callahan's like, I'm telling you, you don't need to know this shit. And he's like, please tell me. I need to know. And he goes, well, the reason I can't do it is because we're going to dip the masks in hazardous material. I don't want you to get hurt.
What?
Like, we know that big companies do this. Like, most of our clothes are poisonous and they do it, and they just hide in the ingredients of what is in the pajamas or shampoo or soap. They say like, oh, it's scented with something and then it causes cancer. Like, we know they do it. There's enough podcasts out there for us to know that they do it, and they just don't tell us about it. But then to straight up tell the salesman, no, there's some bad shit on these masks, like, don't fucking go in that room because you could get hurt. And he just accepts it. Like, yeah, all right.
Cool.
I'm glad you gave one of these masks to my son. I'm glad that I have littered the earth with these cancer-causing masks as far as I know. It's fucking... He's like fucking so stoked that he got to know a little bit. Not all of it, but just a little bit. Like, oh, okay, I got you. You don't want to harm me. You just want to harm America. And this boy's running around with one of the masks on. So Elaine finds her dad's car. And then in front of everyone, all of the robot men, and I'm assuming at this point, they're robots. And or they're reprogrammed people or something, or what I think happens with the masks is these men have worn the mask and the button on the back is controlling their mind, and then they don't need the masks anymore, so now they are just controlled by the Callahan, and Callahan can use them at his whim. That's kind of what I thought was happening, but no, spoiler alert, they're just robots and they're perfect human replicas. And once you figure that out, you're like,
I thought this was about witches.
I thought it was about witches. I thought it was about people who cast spells. And I guess it is, kind of. I guess it kind of is. I don't know. The doctor and Elaine find the car, and they go to run to the car, and they see that that's her dad's car. And then the robot men gather around it in front of everybody, in front of that salesman. They see how ruthless Callahan's men are. And they go, hey, trade secrets. But she said out loud,
That's my dad's car. That's Papa's car. Why can't I have my dad's car?
and then that's just brushed off. And they just got to leave. So they leave. Then, of course, Elaine gets captured by the robot men while they're in the hotel while fucking the doctor is away doing something, flirting with the coroner. The coroner back at the hospital. I forgot all about this motherfucker. The coroner is sifting through the rubble of the burnt robot man, and she can't decipher between what's car and what's man. That's all kind of feels like car. I can't find human bones. This dude burnt up into ash, and so now I'm sifting through the ash trying to find some human component, and she can't find it. And then the doctor, after fucking Elaine, flirts with the coroner on the phone. Like, I'm gonna buy you dinner, girl. Thanks for helping me out. I mean, this dude is a pig, dog. This dude fucking
Sucks.
Jesus Christ.
So the coroner, somehow, because there's a little node on there's a transmitter on the phone that the doctor is using that is when he asks the coroner to sift through the remains, and she's like, I can't find any human parts or whatever, but nothing is concerning her. She's just like, hey, somebody must have mislabeled a bag. Like, she's straight up, she's not a concern at all. And even if she were to think to herself,
This is a robot?
it's 1980, those things don't exist, so she would not think that's a robot. And in fact, Callahan should know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, this coroner is not going to think that a robot that looks like a man walked into a fucking hospital and killed an old man and then burned himself alive. You're going to think that dude was on drugs and he had superhuman strength to rip a dude's skull apart and then killed himself
With fire.
That's some drug addict behavior, and that's what happened. And I can't find his bones. That's all she's going to think. The last thing she's going to think is, a robot did it. But he's so concerned. And she finds she's sifting through the same rubble. Every time we shoot over to the coroner, she's sifting through the same fucking rubble. Nothing has changed. No, nothing she's doing is different. She's not looking at different materials. She's not on one of those telescopes or whatever they're called, periscopes. What are they called?
It's a microscope. Good Lord.
You know what they're called? The thing that makes small things look big to see what's up. She's not looking through one of those. That's how dumb I am. I don't know what I'm talking about. But she's fucking not doing anything differently. And then all of a sudden she's like holding like a mechanical piece, and all of a sudden it clicks. It clicks in her head. It's a robot. And then a robot kills her because of it. And you're like, what did she see? What did she see? That fucking turned a light on in her brain that she was like,
Robot.
and the robot was like,
She fucking figured it out.
drill in the face. He drilled her in the face. He took a drill and drilled a hole in her fucking face. She's dead. And you don't care about her because she's just one of many disposable women in this guy's life. So when she dies, you're like, whatever. Elaine gets captured and fucking the doctor has to go save her, and but anybody that's being attacked by these robot men are killed instantly. Or at least the attempt to kill them is what everyone's afraid of. But now, because these are the main characters, they're captured and shown what the bad guy's whole plan is. So the robots capture the doctor. After the doctor fights one of them, has the easiest fight in the world, punches it in the stomach, right through the stomach, and out comes like this, like just margarine, fucking this yellow oil is on his hand. And the robot spits out yellow oil, and it's like, oh, it's a robot. And then the other robots like pick him up, and the doctor comes in, the Callahan comes in and starts talking to the doctor, and the doctor's like, or Callahan's like, oh, we're gonna, I think you need a demonstration of what's going on, and then has an evil bad guy plot plan scene where he's like, I'm gonna show you. Random doctor who came out of fucking nowhere, but because he's the main character and these two guys have only had 2 scenes together and have built up no rapport whatsoever, are now arch enemies. And much like Bond and Blofeld, the Callahan dude is showing the doctor his big evil plan, uses his top salesman, wife and son as guinea pigs, turns on the commercial that's running on a loop on TV while the son is wearing a mask and they're concealed in this room. While the commercial is running, the mask melts around the kid's face, and then I'm assuming a beam of light from that fucking disc, that Irish disc, it gets blown into the back of its head, and out comes all of these crickets and spiders and snakes and big poisonous fat snakes that bite the family and kill them.
Because.
Just because. You find out that this guy is, Callahan is he is a witch who needs to sacrifice the young on a grand scale. And so his entire plan is to manufacture the greatest masks the world has ever seen, distribute them, and on Halloween the kids need to stop trick-or-treating. This plan only works if you're in front of a television. Otherwise, the masks are harmless. So you need to be near a TV watching it. You can't take your eyes off of it. You have to be watching the commercial, and the commercial runs and runs and runs, and a flashing pumpkin goes off, and the mask will melt and then fucking spray snakes out of your face,
And you die.
And now snakes are everywhere, and that's it. That's the whole plan for this coven of witches I think he's a part of. I'm not sure, but he doesn't get to do that. He doesn't get to pull the trigger on his plan because the doctor, who is alone in a room wearing one of the masks with several hours before the commercial goes off, is left alone in a room. Does not put a guard in that room. Not one of his many robots that he's built. He just leaves his doctor all by himself in a chair, in like a standing chair strapped to it with a TV going, and the chair's on wheels. So the doctor, because he's not supervised, wheels himself away. Also, Callahan shows him on the security footage where Elaine is. So now, so even though the doctor's only been to this place once, knows exactly where Elaine is, wheels himself over to the TV. He kicks the screen into the TV so the commercial stops. Because of that, able now to get himself free from the chair. I don't even remember how he got free of the chair. I cannot fathom how he did it. I don't remember at all. He's free from the chair. He takes the mask off and he throws it perfectly onto the camera. So now they can't see him escaping. But they could have seen him escaping that entire time because it took him a while to wheel over and kick that TV in and take his the straps off and then throw the mask onto this. They had ample opportunity to fucking catch him in the act, and they never once looked at the screen. So he escapes. Then he goes and he gets Elaine and rescues her. And then he fucking sneaks over. He grabs a box full of those little tags that are on the back of the masks, and he goes up to, while there are so many people around waiting for Halloween to kick off, for everyone to go to their TVs, they're gonna pipe in on 3 separate channels this commercial. The doctor plays with the equipment and turns the TVs on, and then takes a box of those little tags, runs up into the ceiling area, and while the fucking pumpkin is flashing at the screen, he throws the tags all fall, and beams are shooting out because of the commercial, kills everybody in the room, and disables all of the robot men. And then Callahan stands there and slow claps. Like, hey, man.
You got me.
Dude, I am exhausted by this. Oh, they also stole a fucking piece from Stonehenge, and that's where they get all their power. It's exhausting me. Somehow they steal a piece from Stonehenge and replace it with a different piece. And this is a magical piece from Stonehenge that's just giving them all the powers. It's never said why Stonehenge is able to do this. It's because they're witches, I guess. They need to sacrifice children for some reason. I don't remember why. It's fucking absolutely not important. So Stonehenge, that little piece from Stonehenge glows, it shoots a beam and kills Callahan. And you think it's all done. But they still need to, the commercial's going to air. And they show all these kids from around the country in the biggest cities in the world, biggest cities in the country, in America, going home to watch the Irish TV commercial wearing their masks, because every kid in the country has bought a mask. There's not one kid in the country who didn't buy one of these masks. So all the children are about to get wiped out. So the doctor takes a car and they're driving as fast as they can. Elaine is not talking, and you get a whiff of it, like, oh, something's wrong with Elaine. And then all of a sudden she turns and she attacks him, and then you realize, oh no, Elaine's a robot. Elaine, she was a fembot. We knew all along, sadly. She attacks him. He crashes the car into a tree. Doctor gets out. She's missing one of the arms. And then a one-armed robot Elaine continues to attack the doctor, pushes robot Elaine down, takes a stick and fucking whacks her head off. And then he goes to get back in his car, and Elaine's other arm, which is holding onto the door, the door that on the passenger side that's open, was holding on to that. When he closes the door, all of a sudden, Elaine's severed robot arm jumps up and starts choking him.
Huh?
What? Doesn't have legs? How the fuck did it get from the door
to his neck?
So he gets out, and you can clearly see that it's her. It's her fucking arm that's choking him, that she's just like under the camera choking him. And then he just takes the arm off. He's just completely traumatized by it and throws it down. And then he gets in the car and he runs away, or he drives away. And the whole time, I can't help but think, was she killed and then turned into a robot? And if she was a robot, if Elaine was killed, made into a robot, put into a room, the doctor was shown where she is, so then when he does escape and saves her and takes out everybody. On the drive home, that's when she attacks him. Why he ruins your entire plan, but she's a robot, and the time you program her to take him out is in the car. Okay? Okay? Assuming maybe that he thought, like, well, his plan is going to go off without a hitch, so he could kill me if he wants, because I'm going to kill all the children in the country anyway, so he can pretend that this is Elaine and kill me, whatever, it doesn't matter, because when they're in the car and when he least expects it, Elaine's going to choke him out in the car and kill him. But they were like up on the rafters. She could have pushed him off of the rafters and killed him then before he dropped the box. She could have fucking swatted the box out of his hand and then kicked him out of the... Like, there were so many moments that Elaine could have... But she's just used... So if that was the case, I guess fine. But it's never said if she was... Because they don't cut back over to Elaine's dead body to show us that Elaine is dead or she's captured and she's stuck in the factory, still alive, but just in the factory. So now you're trying to figure out, okay, was she a robot then, or was she a robot the whole time? And if she was a robot the whole time, why? Why was she a robot the whole time? Can someone explain to me why she was a robot the whole time? Is this doctor important? Because if he is, you have yet to tell me why. Why is the doctor important if he's important? If he's important enough to join the story, why would you get the robot Elaine? I don't understand. And if he's important enough to this, you didn't know that the old man would be taken to that hospital. You had no idea. You tried to kill him in a junkyard. So that can't be it. So really it's just they were in the writer's room and they were like,
okay, we need a scene here before the big finale. What if she's a robot?
And everyone was like,
Oh my God, yeah.
and then that was it. No one came up with any follow-up questions. They were just like,
Elaine's a robot.
Okay, cool.
So he takes a robot Elaine out, drives to the same gas station the old man went to at the beginning of the movie. So the movie's full circle, fucking jerking itself off. He goes over and he calls the station. He calls the station who airs the commercials, the 3 commercials on the 3 different channels to kill all these kids. He calls up and he tells them, everyone's going to die if you don't take them off the air. And the guy's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I know you don't. I know it's hard to believe. I know I don't have any evidence, but I just need you to believe me. And based on pure belief alone, from a phone call from a strange man, panicked on Halloween, of all days, for them to take a threat seriously, it's fucking Halloween. The time for costumes and pretend and pranks. The most pranks happen on Halloween, April Fool's Day, of course. But pranks happen on Halloween fucking all the time. It's the time for people to scare other people. And this dude gets a phone call on Halloween that he needs to pull 3 of his fucking commercials from a company who bought ad time. They bought fucking airspace. That's their time. Regardless if it's going to kill somebody or not, they paid for that ad time. So this man calling them up saying people are going to, with zero evidence, and they take his fucking word for it. And this kid wearing one of the masks, wearing the witch mask.
Which mask?
He wears the green one, walks into, there's 3 kids trick-or-treating. They go to a gas station for some fucking reason. And this deserted gas station. This one kid in the green witch mask.
Which mask?
Walks over to the TV without anyone telling him to do it. No one reprimanding him. No one says, hey kid, go over and change the channels. He just, like a fucking piece of shit, kid with no boundaries, rolls in, starts changing channels. Then it gets to the Shamrock commercial, which they're, of course, there to see. Why they're at the gas station doesn't make any sense. If you're supposed to be watching, why aren't these fucking kids home? He flips to the channel. The commercial starts to play, but then the guy takes it down. So the kid switches it to the next station where the other commercial is playing. Commercial starts to play, gets taken down. And he's like, okay, great. The doctor's on the phone. Okay, good. Kid switches it to the 3rd station. Commercial's going and it's not being taken down. And the doctor is on the phone and he's like, you need to stop it. You need to stop the commercial. You need to stop it. Stop the commercial. And the pumpkin starts to flash. Stop the commercial. Black. and it ended. And I stood up and I started clapping. I was so happy. That's how it ended. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that it got made. I couldn't believe that this is the route they went after the success and popularity of Michael Myers. This is the fucking movie they made. It is an absolute Halloween treat. It is my second favorite Halloween movie of all time. It goes Halloween the original, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, and then Halloween 2018. I love that one. Those are my top 3 favorite Halloween movies of all time. Halloween Witch, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch is my second favorite Halloween movie. I love it so much. Oh my God. We got all the way through that. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed retelling it. If you haven't watched the movie and you got all the way to this point, I hope I recapped it well enough for you to be like, oh yeah, sure, I've seen it and I don't need to see it. And I would say I think you might regret that decision. I think either Halloween or before Halloween Kills comes out on theaters, you and your friends should get together, buttered popcorn, soda, booze, weed, whatever it is that you do that gets you through this life. Sit down and watch the masterpiece that is Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. You shan't regret it.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Thank you so much for tuning into the show. I have been Kane Holloway. You can follow me at Kane Holloway on Instagram. You can also follow the show at Well Actually Pod. Please go to the Patreon, patreon.com/WellActuallyPod. I'm going to put up a, probably on Saturday after Halloween Kills, I will do a review. I'll definitely do a review. I know I said last week that I was going to do a Venom review, but God, the movie just bothers me so much. I don't want to remember it. I don't even want to think about it anymore. But Halloween Kills, I want to do a review of Halloween Kills. We'll do spoilers and non-spoilers. And then I had an idea for who is the strongest version of Michael Myers. Which is the strongest version of Michael Myers? So if you want to check out that Patreon episode, go to patreon.com/WellActuallyPod. I'll post that on Saturday. There will be an audio and video version. I'll get that out to you guys. Let me know what you thought of Halloween Kills. Let me know what you thought of Halloween 3. What's your favorite Halloween movie? Rank them if you like. You can send that to me at Kane Holloway on Instagram. That's the end of the show. I'm never going to give you up. Goodbye.